there's a pretty brazen effort at cracking down on free speech coming out of Washington. Take a look at this. Earlier this week, the ACLU sent a letter to members of Congress opposing the Israel Anti-Boycott Act. The bill would amend existing law to prohibit people in the United States from supporting boycotts targeting Israel, making it a felony to choose not to engage in commerce with companies doing business in Israel and its settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories. Violations would be punishable by a minimum civil penalty of $250,000 and a maximum criminal penalty of $1 million and 20 years in prison. Wow. The bill is aimed at advocates of boycotts targeting Israel, most notably the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, or BDS movement, a global campaign that seeks to apply economic and political pressure on Israel to comply with international law. Specifically, the bill sponsors intend to act as a response to the UN Human Rights Council's 2016 resolution calling on companies to respect human rights, including in occupied Palestinian territories. No matter what you think about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one thing is clear: the First Amendment protects the right to engage in political boycotts. So, J Street, which is a liberal Jewish group who opposes BDS, they came out and said, look, that legislation is insane, and it's a clear crackdown on free speech, and therefore we're against it. It makes it a felony to choose not to engage in commerce with companies doing business in Israel and its illegal settlements in the occupied territories. I've never seen a more brazen, in-your-face example of a violation of the First Amendment and the Constitution. And this bill has a decent number of co-sponsors, and it's bipartisan. So you have Democrats and Republicans like, okay, do we all agree on one thing? Fuck the Palestinians. Am I right? Okay, let's all do that. Man. And I'm just saying here, I'm sure that the free speech warriors on the right, who get really angry every time there's some oversensitive college kids who go in an authoritarian direction and want to like ban conservative speakers from coming on their campus. Which, by the way, I'm against them doing that. I want the conservative speakers on the campus. But I'm sure that if people are upset about free speech issues and First Amendment issues, that, well, obviously they're not only going to get mad when it's like oversensitive punk college kids trying to be authoritarian and ban people from coming. I mean, they're obviously going to get mad at a much more serious issue, which is the government trying to pass laws to restrict free speech and free protest. So there's just a giant outcry on the right. Right? I hear motherfucking crickets. I haven't heard a single person on the right, somewhat affiliated with the right, or anybody who calls themselves a free speech warrior who've said, hey, maybe we should speak up about the attempted criminalization of free speech and free association and free protest. And again, I want to stress this point. This isn't even individuals not affiliated with the government being too oversensitive and trying to be authoritarian. This is the government itself. This is our politicians trying to criminalize speech and freedom of association and free protest. So, if anything, this should be prioritized. Again, I'm against the social justice warriors too, and all the shit they do. But this, again, right-wing social justice warriors. And to be fair, this is not just right-wing social justice warriors. Like I said, it's bipartisan, so it's Democrats and Republicans who are triggered by the microaggression of being for Palestinian rights and being against illegal Israeli occupation and apartheid. Oh, and note the impossible position that the Palestinians are put in. So when they try to resist occupation and they do it violently, people go, oh, come on, man. That's immoral. That's unethical. That's illegal. Don't do that. Now, on that front, I agree with people. Don't do the violent resistance. But then they say, okay, you got to come negotiate with us. The Israeli government does that. So the Palestinians go and directly negotiate with the Israeli government. And then the Israeli government says no to every single thing the Palestinians say. And then the Palestinians go, okay, I guess we'll go to the UN. They go to the UN and Israel goes, how dare you? You should be doing direct negotiations with us. You go, we just did and you said no. I don't care. You need to come again. And so it's a vicious cycle. And then the last place that the occupation apologists run to is, well, look, I mean, if you want to really express your opinion on this, you just should do nonviolent resistance. What the fuck do you think BDS is? Boycotts, divestment, and sanctions. That's a similar strategy that was used against apartheid South Africa. We're going to nonviolently and peacefully try to boycott businesses in occupied territory on illegal settlements. We're going to try to divest. We're going to try to get sanctions on you. Nonviolent, peaceful protest. And then what happens? People try to ban that. So there's no winning. When they resist violently, oh my God, you can't do that. They go to negotiations, we disagree with every single thing that you want. They resist nonviolently, oh my God, you can't do that. Let's ban that. So just sit down, shut the fuck up, and take it if you're Palestinian. Well, this is... I don't care what your opinion is on the issue. At the very least, you can agree. It should not be criminalized to express support for BDS. And if you think it should, then you're certainly not a free speech warrior. You're rather authoritarian.